Hello and welcome to ApexToOval, your weekly motorsports news recap. Starting out with an update from last week, we said that Catherine Legg was going to be partaking in her first ever Cup Series race for NASCAR. She previously did races in ARCA. She's an IndyCar driver. She's driven multiple times in the Indy 500. She's done Champ Car, Regional 3, British F3, Super Renault, whatever the heck it's called. She's really a race car driver, pretty much. But it was her first time in the Cup. Obviously for a team that is not that good of a team and aren't really that professional, comparative to some other teams in the grid. But she tried. She did end up not finishing the race. She spun lap 5, lap 2, lap 3, lap 4, something like that. She spun within the first 5 laps. Spun again later in the race, and Daniel Suarez popped her in the side of the car, and she did not finish the race. Sad to see, because I feel like a lot of people, and by people I mean men, have gone online and have talked to her and her career and said all these nasty things about her. And the fact about her is, she's a good race car driver. She wouldn't have been in that position if she wasn't a good race car driver. Does she have any experience in stock car racing? No. Like, she has a couple of races in ARCA, maybe one in the trucks, I believe. That's it, right? No Xfinity, no, obviously, Cup Series before this past race. And saying she's a bad race car driver over one bad race, I feel like isn't a good thing to do. Especially because they're like, oh, this is why women don't belong in the Cup Series. And it's like, that's just not true. It's hard to go from open wheel and IMSA to stock car. Like, that's the real, like, stock cars are hard to get into from open wheel to begin with, and then on top of that, she's also an IMSA driver. Like, it's gonna be hard to transition, and obviously, maybe she wasn't ready, right? Obviously, she wasn't ready because she didn't perform as well. But to me, I feel like she shouldn't be shit talked just because she did bad, right? She tried, she did pretty well. She was running eighth for a while, right? For a good amount of the race, she was under 30th place, and she messed up. She clipped. I forget what it's called, but there was like a got here. She clipped a little right here. Car spun out this way, and she ended up not finishing the race. So, Jack, what are your opinions on that? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough look when you essentially wreck yourself twice, right? However,
Yep.
you don't see that level of criticism with other people, right? I mean, even Elio in the like at Daytona, I mean, he was involved in I think like a dozen wrecks in the weekend.
Yep.
And wasn't running great for Daytona. I mean, it's a drafting track, so like it's kind of easier to keep up. And he was running well in the ARCA race, don't get me wrong. But like he wasn't getting as much shit for that, right?
No.
And we're talking about a team with it's what, quote unquote, Live Fast Motorsports, the 78. It's BJ McLeod's team. That like that's not exactly, it's not like she's in a JGR car. It's not like she's in a Hendrick car, right?
Yeah.
So as far as pace, like you would expect that car to be around the back of the pack anyway. That for someone who clearly has shown in her career she deserves to be there. And it's a completely, as you said with other like series, it's a completely different style of track than something that you run elsewhere. Because it's a mile, it really runs more like a short track than a lot of the ovals that you'd see in Indy, or than obviously a road course, right? And like, it was a bad performance. Don't get me wrong. But it's not, A, a reason not to have her run another race, and B, a reason to shit on her relentlessly on the internet. When, I mean, you guys like, Stenhouse had the nickname Recky Spinhouse for a while. There were guys, like, other people wreck themselves and each other routinely in races, right? That's clearly not disqualifying for being in the series.
Yeah. I feel like also, like, maybe she should have took some more races in Xfinity and Truck before she made the leap to Cup. Obviously, because I think her highest race was ARCA for this in stock, I
I
believe.
don't
So
know the details on that specifically. Um, I think there would probably be some logistical reasons for that because usually they do make people do that. Like for Elio, I think that either he chose to run the ARCA race beforehand or he wanted to. I know that she was up on the
yeah,
spotter stand during the Xfinity race, um, trying to learn from up there with her spotter for Sunday.
yeah.
Um,
So she ran one over at Daytona, and she's ran five Xfinity races over the span of 2 years. So she has some experience in Xfinity and one in Menards, but not. I feel like maybe not enough to be especially.
I mean, what other tracks did she race at? I think that's kind of the main thing.
So Mid Ohio, Road America,
Okay.
and those are the two races that I can fully see in Xfinity, and in ARCA she ran Daytona.
So this is her first like
Yeah.
oval,
So hold up.
really?
So hold
And
up.
this is
So
definitely her first like
so
shorter track.
Mid Ohio,
Yeah.
Road America, Richmond, Watkins Glen, Charlotte.
Oh, Richmond.
Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah, no, I would say
Mhm.
that she has the experience. Different cars, yes, but at these tracks.
No, but that's Xfinity. That's in Xfinity.
You said Richmond though, right?
Yeah. There's Richmond, but the rest are like road courses,
Yeah. But if Richmond
other
was
than
Charlotte the
Charlotte.
Roval or was it just Charlotte?
Charlotte Roval. Yeah.
Okay. I still ran
Yeah.
Richmond. I mean, I think that
Yeah.
with the resume, I would argue that she could still enter another race tomorrow. I mean, I hope for her sake it's not with, live fast equipment,
Yeah.
but so be it.
Um, but just name some series real quick because a lot of people are calling her a bad race car driver. Obviously, ARCA, Xfinity, the one race and Cup, British Formula 3, Formula Renault UK, Formula E, Champ Car, and IndyCar. Just some of the series that she's been in. She's also been in DTM. She's been in IMSA. She's been in the European Le Mans series, right? So she's been in racing since 2000, right?
I
She's
also
been in racing for a while and has done really well in racing. So after one bad performance in a series that she doesn't really race in, like at all, saying that she's a bad driver is just not. It's not the way to go.
Also, it feels like there's been more made about this than there have been about other kind of nightmare one-off races. Like I think
Yeah,
was it Derek Cope that entered the Daytona
I don't know.
500 a few years ago in 2021? That was perhaps the worst performance I've ever seen in my life. And
It's really funny. That's really funny.
and like, it was in bad equipment, it was at Daytona, whatever else. But like
Yeah,
I'm talking like danger to yourself and others on the track at Daytona. Like if less
yeah,
of a deal was made about like that than and yes, I'm bringing it up 4 years later, but like I don't know. People are allowed to have a bad performance and it doesn't mean that you need to make some statement about women in racing or about letting people race because of their resume in other series. Like it's still
yeah,
objectively a good thing that people are coming from other series to race here, right?
yeah. On to our first. So we have two NASCAR articles. We have an F1 article and we have a IndyCar article from this past week. We also are going to go over some of the races, as well as make our predictions for the upcoming week of races, which has Xfinity Cup and F1's opening weekend. Let's get into our NASCAR race, one of two. there was a rumor that came out that NASCAR was not planning to race in Mexico City due to it being dangerous, and that I have to say were rumors and were wrong. Um, NASCAR came out and said, no, we're planning on racing there. We are having an event there like this now or like this week or something like that. They were like, we're gonna have it there, showcasing it. We're still racing there. And what I have to say is, why would NASCAR not race there, right? And let me just name off some series. NFL hosted games in Mexico City between 2016, 2019, 2022, and haven't because the stadium has been for that they use for the football is being renovated. F1 also raced in Mexico City from 2015, 2019, and 2021 to present. MLB has played games in Mexico City the past 2 years, and the NBA has played a game in 2024 and going to play there another game in 2025. Why would NASCAR, like, if all these other series and sports have played games in Mexico City, why would they think it's dangerous, right? Can it be dangerous? Yes. But has it been at all? No. So, like, why would they cancel it? Jack, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was confused where these rumors were coming from. I
I
I
was
got the
too.
sense that most of it was political, right? That the main
Mm-hmm.
thing that's changed since the race was announced and then some is that our relationships with our neighboring countries have soured a lot, I'll say, right? Without getting terribly political. Um and so I think that you see conflict, you see kind of trade wars being kicked off, and maybe teams are getting nervous that something like shipping an entire racing setup over to Mexico City and running a race there and all that is like no longer feasible with the relations between the countries or whatever. But I didn't understand how it picked up this much steam.
I don't know either. I've saw multiple NASCAR creators talking about it on TikTok, and I was like, dog, this doesn't seem real.
I mean,
It's so many different.
there were drivers hinting at it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see the substance to it. Anyway, on to our next and final NASCAR article for today. Not this past weekend, but the weekend before in Coda, there was a little bit of an accident between Austin Cindric and Ty Dillon, and some drivers calling out NASCAR because of it. Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, and other drivers called out NASCAR. Austin Cindric's penalty. Now, if you don't know, Austin Cindric hooked Austin Dillon's car at Coda and was given a $50,000 penalty along with 50-point deduction to his driver points. Hamlin and Busch, along with other drivers, say that Cindric deserved to be suspended for a race or two for that, and NASCAR consistent with the rule. Denny also said in an interview that I saw on the GOAT Bob Pockrass's Twitter that he himself, the first time he got away with it, the second time he penalized for it, right? He got suspended. And then that's the case every time is that, if you do it once, which Denny was like, yeah, I know that Cindric has done it before. This is at least the second time you should be suspended, like I was. And I think that's fair. I think that if you hook a driver, I don't care if it's your first time. I think you should be suspended because you ruined the driver's race because you couldn't pass him and you decided to hook him. So what are your thoughts, Jack?
Yeah, I think that he should have been suspended here. I think that something that maybe hasn't been talked about enough is the fact that NASCAR may see it as, hey, this was a right hook, yes, but it was a right hook on a road course, right?
Yeah.
Which might be their kind of excuse with it. The problem is he was still going very fast and hit a wall hard, right? Like it still had the effects of a right hook that a right hook would on a shorter oval. Um, and I feel like they were talking as if it was very clear that this would automatically be a suspension. So it's strange to see where someone isn't suspended.
Yeah. I agree. I think that, if you're gonna hook someone, you need to get suspended. But they didn't. They gave him a $50,000 penalty and a 50-point deduction to his driver championship points.
The 50 points are
Um,
big, but he can still win races and earn playoff points, right? It's just if you're suspended
yes.
that you lose the playoff points,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Um,
like that 50 points is big, but if you're Cindric in a Penske car and you think you can win a race anyway, the playoff points are bigger.
Yeah. I think they should have a partial, but that's just me. On
Oh,
to the F1.
speaking of
Oh,
penalties, actually, before we go on, did we talk
yes,
about Briscoe last week?
I believe so. Let me check.
Did we talk about it
Well,
getting
you're talking
overturned?
about
I thought that happened after.
did it? I thought it. Hold up. See full version. Ba-da-ba-da.
No, yeah, that was
Let's
that was
see.
during the last week when it got appealed.
Was it?
It was
Oh
Wednesday, yeah.
shoot! I thought we talked about it. Didn't? I guess we. No, we didn't. Okay, let's talk about it.
Sorry
Chase
to
Briscoe's penalty got
sorry
overturned.
to bring that in. That was just
No, yeah, you're good. I completely forgot about that. I was looking and I was like, in my brain, that was 2 weeks ago.
well, because the penalty
Since
itself was, and I
yeah,
think that we've talked about it kind of off camera that none of it wasn't on either of our radars that they could
yeah.
win this appeal, especially after the Kligerman episode, where like they were very
So
confident, and NASCAR was like, well, it's more likely than not that they still did something,
yeah. So if you
where
didn't know,
winning appeals is
uh,
just impossible.
yeah. So Chase Briscoe, for people who don't know about it, he was disqualified from the race at Atlanta. Was it or was it Daytona?
Yes.
Atlanta, or
Wait.
Daytona, one of the
No, no,
two.
no, no, no. It was Daytona.
Was it Atlanta? It was Daytona. It was so he was disqualified from Daytona. After his spoiler, I believe it was, did not receive. It looked modified. JGR appealed it, and they won by bringing 20 parts, 20 of the same like spoiler part to the case, and said, "This is what they all look like. It's not modified." And they got it overturned. Chase Briscoe's penalty was released, and his penalty. Oh, I remember we covered the penalty, but we didn't talk about it. You're right.
Yes.
It was like 100-point deduction. It was like his crew was like banned for like a couple of
Crew
races.
chief was banned
Anyway,
for 4 races. Yeah, well, suspended for four
yeah.
races. 100
So
points and 10 playoff points.
10 playoff points. That was overturned. Now I said this joke. I think we were talking about it yesterday, which is why during the race, which I made a joke that what if JR decided to just bring 20 modified parts to the hearing just to fool the judges and like the people who are in the case. They just get away with 20 modified parts. I guarantee they did, but that would be really, really fun.
Well, because they basically, the conclusion they came to was not that the spoiler they looked at wasn't wrong. Like, they said that the spoiler they looked at was still different from how it comes, but they decided it was because of how they attach it to the car and not a modification they make to it beforehand. Which is one of
Yeah.
those things that, like, I'm sure that could be true. That feels like
Mhm.
one of those arguments that doesn't hold up in these appeals panels a lot of the time.
But apparently it was. So, Chase Briscoe, welcome back to possibly the playoffs if you do get a win or a lot of points.
Although it's been a
Anyway,
rough start to the season
yeah.
even without that penalty. But
Oh yeah. By the way, I just want to point out before we actually I'll point out later. On to F1. GM/Cadillac. It's GM, but they're putting it under Cadillac. Their bid is official. They can join the grid in the Formula One grid in 2026. It was confirmed after the agreement was in principle 2 months ago. It was officially agreed to earlier last week. Big news. 11th team. What do you think?
I mean, it's good. Finally, a U.S. team in. I'm a little confused as to why it happened now instead of with Andretti. Like, they wanted. Go for it.
I have a feeling Cadillac are going to sell that shit to Andretti. I'm not going to lie. I think it's going
Well,
to happen.
Andretti's already
F1 can't do
involved.
anything about it. I know, but I think Cadillac's just going to say, Andretti, take like in like a year or two. Andretti's going to be like, Andretti, just take it all. And F1 can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I
That's what
mean,
I think. I think this is just to get Andretti into the sport
I
because they
think
got denied
it
before.
feels like part of this is almost like an oops, my bad by F1 because the FIA approved Andretti, right?
The FIA approved Andretti, but the owners did not. Like the owners of the
Yeah,
10 current teams did not because they wanted to be money greedy and take more money. Because if they add an 11th team, they have to split it 11 ways now, I believe is what their reasoning was. But who knows? That was their
um,
point back then. But I don't know if that holds up now.
yeah, I I don't know because Andretti is like the owner of Andretti is still like involved with this team, right?
Yeah, I
And it's still
believe
obviously
so.
a Cadillac team, which was what the like Andretti was supposed to be a GM team, right?
Yes. It was, well, I think it was supposed to be Andretti, but GM engine, like Cadillac engine supplier, I think is
Yeah,
what
I
the
mean it was
original
still
plan
linked
was.
to bringing like a GM engine, like GM as a new engine
Yes.
manufacturer into the sport.
Yes, it was.
I don't know.
I don't know. They decided to just say screw it, Cadillac, come in.
I'm not
Um,
complaining. You know, it
I'm not quitting either. What in 1 to 2 years, Andretti's going to take it all. On to IndyCar, our final article for today before we go into last week's race and this upcoming weekend's race. St. Petersburg, the race in St. Petersburg, the actual IndyCar race, not Indy NXT, but IndyCar, NTT, drew over 1.4 million viewers, and it was an increase of 45% from last year's viewership on, was it NBC that they were on before? I think it was. Whatever
yeah, I
they
mean
were, because
NBC
they're
was the
on Fox
previous
this
like
year.
network. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a 45% increase from NBC's viewership last year. It still does not beat the most viewed IndyCar race ever. It was the second most viewed IndyCar race besides the Indy 500, which
Um
is pretty big.
yeah. I it's good. That marketing has
It's
paid
good.
off. It being on main Fox is good always.
Yep.
Um
And the presentation of it was just so much better than NASCAR's. I'm not gonna lie.
I they still had those uh what are they called? The little like avatars, the driver avatars.
Yeah.
That was, you know, you knew they do it, but like come on.
Like on during the race, they had somewhat like actual pictures of the actual drivers and not just the avatars.
Yeah.
Like I saw a TikTok on this, which was funny as hell. I think I sent it to you, and it was this dude just roasting Fox for like giving Kyle Busch a 6 pack on on his avatar, and I thought that was so funny because we all know Kyle Busch does not. None of those drivers on the Cup probably have a 6 pack, other than maybe like two. So like, yeah. Anyway, that was
But we
that.
take growth, right?
We take growth, and hopefully they'll help NASCAR with that. Maybe they'll change the NASCAR to be a lot better because I like the graphics of IndyCar a lot better than I do NASCAR. But that's just me. Um, on to last weekend's racing in the Xfinity Series. Jack predicted Jesse Love, the Love Meister, and I picked his best friend Connor Zilic because Connor Zilic is the goat. Uh, Neither of them won. Eric Amarola won after putting Alex Bowman into the wall, which I find so
Oopsies.
funny. The most places gained was number 39, Ryan Sieg, with 26 places being gained, going from 30th to 4th. I don't know how. The most places lost was Connor Silich, 12, going from 4th to 16th. And your DNFs were Dawson Cram, number 74, Double Zero Sheldon Creed, 21 Austin Hill, and 20 Thompson. I enjoyed the race. Jack, what about you?
Yeah, I really thought at the start there, like I didn't, you know, full disclosure, I didn't watch Xfinity qualifying. I think I was driving around that time. Um,
Yes, you
so
were.
when Alex was telling me that like he was changing it, like ready to watch Bowman win this race, I was like, hang on now, didn't you pick Zillage? And then I watched the first few laps of that race, and I'm like, oh, okay, no, he was right. He was right. He was right. But evidently, we figured out how to stop Bowman. Um,
Put him in the wall. Put him in the wall. Win. Easy. Easy.
hey, if it works. But no,
If it
that
works, it works.
I mean, that car was insane at the start, and then we actually had some good racing.
Yeah. We really did. And I mean, moving on to the Cup real quick. Jack had, you know, Ryan Preece because Connecticut go, and I had Joey Logano because Connecticut go. But speaking of Alex Bowman, he made up 25 places after qualifying fucking skid. He finished in 7th place, which is he was on it. He was on one all weekend long, Xfinity and in Cup. For Bell, your 3-time winner, the first since Kyle Larson in 2021, who did it, I believe, twice. Kyle Busch before that. There was Logano who did it before. No, Busch. I think it might have been Logano or something like that. Or maybe Hamlin. And then before that was Kevin Harvick. But the Fox broadcast said it was Kevin Harvick who did the 3 in a row before it was the last person. And that was
Um,
wrong because there was what?
Specifically, it was races 2 through 4. I think it was the last.
Oh, they
Harvick
didn't
was the
say
last
that on
person to do that.
broadcast. I'm not going to lie.
Because the graphic that they showed on the broadcast had like it was 3 people with the potential to do it. It was like maybe it was Mark Martin. I'm trying to remember, and then it was Harvick, and then it was Bell, and it was people who like the first race they finished in like the 20s or 30s, and then the next 3 like were in the top 2. I forget exactly how it was
Okay, then
set up,
that
but
would make sense. But I feel like they didn't make that clear on the like they said the last person to do that, and then they said like I don't
because
know
they were
they
talking
made it
about
really
Larson
confusing.
a lot as the last person to do it. I think.
I don't remember them talking about Larson at all, other than him being really good towards the end of the race. But
Oh, I also could have totally
I
made
might
that
have bad
up,
hearing.
but
I might have bad hearing. I don't. Who knows? Who really knows? Eric Jones lost the most places with 13, going from 5th to 18th. Thank you, because you saved Joey Logano from losing the most places. And your DNFs, there were a lot of them. Number 35, Riley Herbst, 77, Carson Hocevar, 19, Chase Briscoe, 7, Justin Haley, 6, Brad Keselowski, 41, Cole Custer, a.k.a. Cole Custard, with the Custard livery this week. 88, SVG, Shane Van Ginsberg. Number 78, Catherine Legg. Number 23, Bubba Wallace, who had brake issues. And number 12, Ryan Blaney, who also had brake issues.
did Ty Gibbs not technically DNF? Did he get back out there?
Yeah.
Okay, because I know
They said he got rid
Bubba's
of it.
brakes blew up, and then a
Yeah,
while
Bubba
later,
these brakes.
Ty Gibbs' brake also blew up. In the
I think
exact,
Ty Gibbs
it's
got rid of
the, it
it.
was
Let
the
me
same, it
check.
was the
Did
same
I-
wheel, it was the same fashion, but I know Bubba went
Oh
straight
no,
to the garage.
no. You right. You
Okay,
right. It was too far up. There are too many DNFs. So when I scrolled to the bottom to check the DNFs, I couldn't see Ty Gibbs. Holy crap. That's why. 54, Ty Gibbs, also DNF.
because yeah, it seems like Toyota was playing with the brakes a little too much.
Yeah.
2 of them blew up. Briscoe, I guess I can't say that they were playing with it too much if Bell won the race and Hamlin was right up there with them. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe it was just. Dude, maybe it was just freaking 2311, man. What the hell?
Well, no, Gibbs is a JGR car.
No, but I was.
It's just
okay,
if you're
go
pushing
on.
right on the edge, you know, it's probability of who blows up or not. And I guess they got lucky that it was some of the worst running cars that blew up.
Hold up, Bubba was doing pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I mean, he was running what,
and he
like
still
10th,
had his
11th?
option left. Bubba,
Yeah.
I have a feeling if Bubba's brakes blew up was a sign from the man above or woman above saying, Bubba, you're not allowed to win. Because I swear to God, dude, Bubba would have destroyed everyone's options.
Okay.
Speaking
Speaking of that, you want to
option tires?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Ryan
Dude.
Preece put them on first. He looked like a god on wheels.
Dude.
Oh my.
Going
Went from the
to
30s
freaking-
to like third.
Bro, he went from 33rd to third in like 25 laps. Like it
It
was
was insane.
gross.
He was flying.
It was so funny, dude. We just watched what the hell is going on, and then they finally say, "Oh, he has the option tires on," and we're like, "Dude, it's that fast? What the?" There,
It
you know
it
what? Joey Logano, yeah, it
it
was
was like
so
new
funny.
tires at Old Atlanta on steroids. It was like it was
Great.
wonderful.
It was amazing.
But then because he used him so early, he got well he and I mean
Wrecked later
Logano I
on.
think used both of his early and Blaney maybe as
Yeah,
well, where then he got cooked at the end of the race because everyone else had him and he didn't.
yeah.
But
It was kind of crazy. It was fun. I
and
think they need to bring back those tires at every race.
well
Bring them back.
that's what they're doing with the championship at Phoenix at least. I believe they're running a tire test. I don't know if it's today or later in the week. I just know that it's happening where that's like the baseline tire and then they're testing some other softer tire compounds. But the idea is that they
Ooh.
bring one tire for everyone to Phoenix and it's either that option tire that we saw or it's a different compound that they're testing today. Or not maybe
I
not
think it
today.
needs
I don't
to
remember.
be. I think it needs to be a tire that makes them go vroom vroom faster. That's what I'm saying. They just need a vroom vroom tire faster.
Just give them the softest tires that exist and put like 1,000 horsepower back in the cars and let the drivers cook.
Hell yeah! Take off the limiter. Take it all. Anyway, on to our predictions. So this Friday, there's the Truck Series Victoria's Voice Foundation 2 presented by Westgate Resorts for the Las Vegas race on March 14th at 9 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Pacific. Why we include p.m. Pacific this time? I'm going to be in California this weekend, so I need to know the specific time so I can watch the races still.
You're going to be in
Uh,
California?
yeah.
No way. What part?
Hmm. No, Bay Area.
Ah,
Oh, I don't have it. Hold on. Do I have it?
let's go. Turn it around, turn it around, turn it around. Yeah!
Aaron Judge, Arson Judge, baby. This is a motorsports podcast. Anyway, my prediction for the race is Mr. Goat himself, Corey Hahn.
Yeah, I mean, I think we both. Mine is Ty Majeski. I think that we
Mm-hmm.
both went with. I don't want to say safer picks, but definitely some of the like projected title contenders, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Corey Haim is just fast everywhere, so
Yeah.
give him it. For the Xfinity Series race, the Liuna, what the fudge is that name? Liuna exclamation point. Also at Las Vegas, March 15th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time and 1:30 p.m. Pacific Time. My pick is the GOAT, future seven-time Cup Series champion, seven-time F1 World Champion, and seven-time IndyCar champion, Connor Zilla.
I see.
Damn, that reverberated.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
That reverberated like hell. Anyway, I got Connor Zillage. Yeah, who do you got?
Sorry, my hand slipped. My mic is on like a mic arm that's got some like springs on it, and my hand slipped and hit one of those springs like it's a guitar string. Like I strummed the mic stand. It's just like I hope it's not picking it up. I hope it's not picking it up. I hope it's not picking it up.
Oh no, it was Jack. Anyway, who
Oh
is your pick for
no.
Xfinity?
um, well, anyway, I think I was just trying to add to the Zillish hype. I apologize. Um, I'm gonna pick Justin Allgaier. I think now, if I'm wrong, um, you can tar and feather me, but I think
Mm.
that Allgaier has never won at Las Vegas, even though I think he's got a top 10 in like half of his starts. Um, And so I am picking him to get his first win at Las Vegas.
Ooh.
Let's
Too bad
see.
my goat Connor Zillage is future seven-time world champion, Cup Series champion, and IndyCar champion Connor Zillage.
According to Racing Reference.
That's a thing?
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not.
In 21 career starts at Las Vegas, Justin Allgaier has 11 top fives. More than 50% of the time he finishes in the top five. 18 top tens. So all but 3 times he's raced there, he's finished in the top 10. And it's one of those tracks where, like, at first thought, I was sitting there, I was like, man, Allgaier's really good at Vegas, isn't he? Just because it's also junior motorsports, so it's a good team at a 1.5 miler, right? And then I went and looked because I'm like, wait, but I don't remember him ever winning at Vegas. And sure enough. So now's the time.
Birds are honking, Jack. The freaking geese. Um,
But I think this is the time that he gets it done. He's been so consistently good. He's going to finally finish first.
Custard, my boy. Formula One Australian GP is this week. The first week of F1 this season, March 16th at 12 a.m. Eastern time.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Did you just see the time?
Yeah, for some reason in my head, I internalized it as like noon, not midnight.
No,
I don't know why.
12
I was thinking
a.m.
12, and I was like, that's noon, definitely. Nope.
9 p.m. Pacific time. I mean, I was gonna stay up anyway, so it don't matter to me. We're gonna go over before we say our predictions for the race. Just to make notes, we have it twice. Jack predicted Verstappen as the drivers' championship. I predicted Lewis. We both chose Ferrari as the constructors. Our biggest surprise, Jack was Williams, mine was Haas. Biggest letdown, Jack's was Liam Lawson, mine was Lando Norris. Best rookie, Jack's was Kimi Antonelli or Ollie Behrman, mine was Isaac Hadjar. And worst rookie, Jack's was Jack Doohan, Jack on Jack Crime, and mine was Kimi Antonelli. On to our predictions. I have Sir Lewis, the Hamilton. My go. Anyway, Jack, who do you have?
Once again, so for the Drivers' Championship, I would like to again clarify that part of the reasoning for picking Verstappen is that Alex already clearly had claimed Lewis, right? And so then it was a matter of, and you know, this was before testing and whatever else, it was a matter of, all right, so if I can't pick Lewis, who is the most natural counter to Lewis? It's Verstappen. Even though you could argue it's a McLaren driver and someone like that, but you know,
Max is finishing P6.
I had to be anti-Alex. So once again, we have ourselves in a situation where Alex has picked Lewis.
You can pick Lewis too. It's okay.
No,
There's enough Lewis for the.
I actually wasn't going to pick Lewis for this race, but what I am going to do
for both of us
is I am not going to get terribly creative, and I'm just going to pick who I think in a lot of circles is the outright favorite for this race, which is going to be Lando Norris. I think a lot of people are expecting McLaren to be fast. I think that he's pretty clearly the number one at that team right now. And I think if you put those together, he's got as good a shot as any of the real like contenders.
Are you sure? Because papaya rules say different. Yeah. No comment. And also on Sunday, March 16th, is the Pennzoil 400, also at Las Vegas, at 3:30 Eastern Time, 12:30 Pacific. You have. Oh my God! I was about to say your prediction. I was like, why am I saying it? Because I like to jinx drivers. I'm picking Christopher Bell to make it 4 in a row, so he doesn't win finally.
I see.
Jack, who do you have?
Well, actually, I mean, Christopher Bell winning 4 in a row, but the 4th different kind of track in a row would be a little bit funny.
Oh, what? That's why I'm either going to be amazing prediction, like funny as hell, or I'm going to be a jinx. Either way, I win.
But I'm gonna go with. I mean, obviously, I'm a Bubba Wallace fan. I'm a 2311 fan. I'm going with his teammate Tyler Reddick.
Bubba.
Um, I think
Not
that
Bubba?
last year's regular season champion. We're talking about a team that has been fast so far this year. At least the 45 team has. The 23 cars gotten there later on in the race. And now we're going to our first, traditional mile-and-a-half NASCAR track. Not quite like cookie cutter oval, but this is the mile-and-a-half. This is a mile-and-a-half NASCAR oval. This is what half the schedule is. This is kind of NASCAR's bread and butter track style-wise. And you've got a team that's been fast. You're going to a type of track that they've, clearly been strong at. Although, you could say that about anyone because it's half the tracks on the schedule. But I say Reddick gets it done. Continue the Toyota win streak.
Now, I just want to out. I don't remember if I said this in the pod, but I said it in our DMs at least, and when we were talking personally, I made a joke that when the remainder of the races on the calendar after Daytona, and Christopher Bell has kind of done that.
Well,
So
you said
far,
that
he's
Denny
won
would
3 in a
do
row.
it, right?
Yeah, and maybe I just channeled Christopher Bell to just dominate. So now I'm trying to jinx him. All he needs to do is win at a traditional oval and then win at Talladega. And he's completed the 5-fecta. And oh no, he has to win Chicago as well. And then he wins the 6-fecta. But that is it for today's pod. Tune in next week for more news stories. Hopefully Lewis wins. And hopefully Connor Zelich comes back. Jack, do you have any final thoughts?
Ooh, there's not a thought in my brain right now. I do want to say that I will also be staying up to watch the F1 race, although I will probably be watching it while laying in bed by the end of it. And I am really looking forward to hopefully seeing Red Bull lose.
Oh, Red Bulls, they're pathetic this season. Oh yeah, no Adrian Newey, no good.
No
Adrian
Newey,
gone,
no
baby.
good.
We've done it. Thank you guys for watching the pod. Tune in next, and have a nice day.